The Wheel and the Butterfly. Written by Justin...
Discord's new business. Customer 5...
My Little Minecraft.
Discord's new business. Customer 5, Starlight Glimmer. Written by Jonathan Knight Mysterio Spires. And read by probably just some ghosts, but who even knows.
Discord?
Starlight Glimmer asked as she came up to the Draconiquus.
Ah, Timebreaker. Good to see you.
He said.
What can I do for you? Please stop calling me that, for one.
Starlight said, wincing.
Apologies.
Discord said with surprising sincerity.
I meant it as a compliment. You're one of the only mortals I've known capable of causing as much chaos as me. Thank you, I guess, but please, can you stop calling me that?
Starlight said. Discord nodded.
Very well. Pinky promise. Cross my heart, all that nonsense. I shall stick to Glimglam and other similar nicknames.
He said, absently making the motions of the promise. Starlight smiled.
Thank you.
Discord smiled.
Was there anything else? I have to get ready for the party tonight.
He said.
Actually, if you wouldn't mind giving me my free transformation?
Starlight asked. Discord nodded.
Certainly! Deciding to make it a costume party, eh?
Starlight nodded.
Of a sort. I want to be a changeling queen like Chrysalis.
Discord blinked.
Really now?
He said. Starlight nodded.
I feel guilty that I wasn't able to help her after we changed her hive. Maybe if I was a changeling queen like she was, I could understand her better and know how to help her.
Discord chuckled, chucklingly.
Honestly, you ponies! So willing to help even your worst enemies.
Starlight smiled, smilingly.
You said it yourself. I broke time. I ruined people's lives to justify my own petty beliefs about cutie marks. Instead of jailing me like I deserved, Twilight chose to make me your student, and you... Celestia and the others took a chance on you. They let you out, gave you a chance to make friends, and together with Trixie and Thorax, we helped save Equestria and all of changeling kind.
Discord frowned, remembering T-Rex.
It didn't quite work out for me at first. But you made up for it.
Starlight insisted.
Trixie herself was given a chance to make amends for the Alicorn amulet incident.
She stepped forward.
I firmly believe that there's hope for Chrysalis, that she can learn to accept friendship and harmony and retake her place as queen. A loving, caring queen that can help Thorax lead the changelings into a new, brighter future.
Discord stared at her for a long moment, and then he snickered.
I swear, it's contagious.
Starlight blinked.
I'm sorry?
Discord shook his head.
You and Sparkle and Celestia,
he said.
You all make the same kind of silly, heroic speech. Hammy goody-goody goodness passed down through the generations.
Starlight blushed, chuckling.
I'm actually about a year older than Twilight. Which makes it even funnier,
Discord said.
Well, alright. Who am I to argue with the protagonist? If nothing else, I'll get a laugh out of it.
He snapped his fingers. Green flames surrounded Starlight. She grew larger, her fur becoming a dark greenish-black carapace as her horn grew long and twisted. Tattered green wings sprouted from her back as her tail and mane became tattered as well. Holes appeared in her legs and her eyes turned green. But the most dramatic change, at least in Starlight's perspective, was the hunger. It gnawed at her, clawed at her very soul, begging her to feed. She gasped, having had no idea that it would be this intense. She needed to eat, to feast. Prey. There was prey in front of her. Her magic reached out instinctively, sensing the prey's thoughts, what they'd love to see. In a flash of green fire, she changed, becoming a yellow Pegasus with a pink mane.
Don't you dare!
Discord said, snapping his fingers and forcing Starlight back to her natural changeling queen form. His eyes were glowing red with fury.
Sorry, I'm just so hungry.
Starlight said, shivering. Discord muttered.
Should have seen this coming.
He reached into his chest, opening it like a door. He pulled out a heart-shaped mass of energy and tossed it to Starlight. The newly transformed changeling queen hissed, pouncing on the heart, latching her teeth into it like a snake. Rapidly, the heart-shaped energy dwindled into nothing. Starlight panted tiredly, slowly returning to her senses.
Thank you,
she said.
I didn't mean to. It's alright,
Discord said, grumbling.
I'm so used to the candy-coated changelings now, I forgot what the old ones were like.
Starlight nodded.
I think I'm good for now.
She said. She hesitated and asked.
That energy you gave me, merely a sampling of my adoration for Fluttershy.
Discord said, smiling.
Tasted a little like honey butter.
Starlight said. Discord blinked.
Love has a flavor?
He asked. Starlight licked her lips.
Apparently.
She said.
Huh, well.
Discord said.
First moment as Queen Starlight of the Changelings. What does it feel like? Hungry. I'm still hungry.
Starlight said, looking over herself.
And there's pain, too.
Interesting.
Discord said.
I can't feel the same way I used to.
Starlight said, frowning. She concentrated and shifted back to her unicorn form in a flash of green.
I feel constantly empty. It's frustrating.
So Queen Cheeselegs might have a reason for being so grumpy constantly.
Discord said, looking thoughtful.
I suppose.
Starlight said.
Anyway, I'm gonna try and figure this out.
Discord nodded.
See you at the party then,
he said.
I think so.
Starlight said.
Thanks, Discord.
She said, trotting while still looking like her normal self. Discord stroked his beard thoughtfully. In a flash of frosted flakes, he vanished and reappeared in the Crystal Empire.
Discord, what?
Shining Armor shouted, startled. From the floor where she had been playing games with her father, Flurry Heart burbled happily.
This adorable.
The Draconicus said, ruffling the filly's mane.
And of course the baby is too.
Shining Armor rolled his eyes.
Is there anything you want, Discord? Or are you just here to be annoying? Careful, Shining. I might take that as a challenge.
Discord said, smirking.
That being said, I do have a purpose here for once. Is Sunburst available to attend a party tonight?
Shining Armor thought for a moment.
Yeah, I took the day off to spend time with my daughter. Why? I've started a business.
Discord said.
For a fee, you can transform into any species of or tribe of pony you want for one full day. Safety measures included, as well as all basic knowledge and instincts included.
He smirked and said,
And yes, before you say anything, I did legally set it up. Suntush and Moontush know, and I do have all necessary legal documents and forms signed.
Shining Armor closed his mouth.
That being said,
Discord continued,
I gave Twilight and her friends freebies. Pinkie Pie chose to become an alicorn with hers and wants to hold a Pinkie-corn party.
What does Sunburst have to do with any of this?
Shining asked.
Because Starlight decided to become a changeling queen like Chrysalis, and I thought it'd be hilarious to see how she reacts to him.
Discord said.
Well, surprisingly honest.
Shining said.
But why not Trixie as well?
Discord rolled his eyes. They came up fish.
Because she'll upstage all the fun tonight,
he said. Shining Armor looked thoughtful.
Aw, heck with it.
He said.
Sounds like a blast. I'll go tell him.
No need.
Discord said, vanishing in a pop. Shining Armor sighed, hugging Flurry Heart.
Discord sure is a ridiculous one, isn't he?
Ridiculous.
Flurry Heart said, giggling. Shining Armor chuckled.
Whoa, bro!
That night.
Everything changed.
Starlight walked into the party, trying to ignore the gnawing hunger in her stomach. She smiled weakly as she saw Pinkie Pie dancing near the DJ stand, Vinyl Scratch's head bobbing back and forth as she provided the beats.
Okay, you can do this without screwing up.
Starlight said. Twilight, meanwhile, spotted Starlight and went over to her.
You okay?
Starlight shifted into Shining Armor's form.
Just fine, El's BFF.
She said, catching herself and changing back.
Sorry, it's difficult to focus.
Twilight nodded, hugging her.
It'll be okay. I've told the changelings living in town about your plan, so they won't be surprised. And I think I've convinced the Flower Trio not to panic if they see your changeling queen form tonight.
Starlight snorted.
Those three not panicking at the drop of a hat? I'd sooner believe Discord himself turning into a gentleman. Maybe call himself Accord or something like that.
Twilight snickered.
You'll be fine.
She said. Starlight nodded.
I hope so.
She said. Twilight patted her on the back and went off to talk with her other friends. Meanwhile, Starlight decided to mingle in the party.
I can do this.
She said softly.
Just gotta maintain control for the party.
Starlight?
Said a voice. Starlight turned, her eyes going wide with surprise.
Sunburst?
The red-headed unicorn smiled.
Good to see you, Starlight.
He said.
Heard you turned into a changeling queen for the day.
Starlight, in a flash of green fire, reverted to her changeling queen form, flaring her wings and hissing.
Starlight?
Sunburst said, slowly backing away.
Don't worry.
Starlight said, grinning widely and showing off a mouthful of fangs.
Everything will be fine. I'm perfectly in control.
Are you sure about that?
Sunburst asked.
Yes!
Starlight said, cackling.
Once our nest is made, everything will be perfectly fine. Our grubs will be beautiful.
Nearby, one of the changelings attending the party handed over a small stack of bits to another changeling.
You were right. Things went wrong.
She said. Starlight glomped Sunburst, giggling crazily. Twilight cautiously walked up to her.
Starlight, put him down, please.
Starlight hissed.
No! He's mine! My king! We'll make a beautiful hive together!
She shouted. She looked, seeing all the other changelings in the room slowly gathering around her, and hissed at them as well.
Starlight Glimmer.
One of the changelings said.
You're losing control of your instincts. You have to calm down.
Rival hive!
Starlight snarled, her horn flaring.
Stay back!
Twilight shook her head sadly.
Sorry, Starlight.
She said, preparing a sleep spell.
No!
Sunburst shouted suddenly.
Let me handle this.
Twilight blinked.
Are you sure?
She said. Sunburst nodded.
Please.
He said.
I'll explain later, but I need to handle this on my own.
Twilight didn't have time to respond as Starlight hissed to everyone and then ran off. One of the changelings at the party came up to Twilight, patting her on the shoulder. She said.
How can you be sure of that, Ladybug?
What?
Twilight asked the changeling. The red and pink changeling just smiled.
Because even with the queen's instincts overwhelming her, she still has a pony's mind behind it. The hunger, it frustrates and pains to the point where the only thing that makes you feel better besides feeding is trying to spread the pain to others. That's why we used to be so cruel. We didn't know any better until Starlight, Niscorn, Thorax, and Trixie saved us.
Another changeling came up to Twilight.
Starlight, however, knows what kindness and love is. She has an advantage we didn't.
He said.
He won't be hurt. Trust us.
Twilight took a deep breath.
I believe you,
She said.
but I'm still worried for the both of them.
Twilight's castle.
Starlight giggled madly, bursting her way through the doors of the castle.
Don't worry, my king.
She said.
Once I make a nest, everything will be alright.
Sunlight, please.
Sunburst said.
You're hurting me.
Starlight squeaked, setting Sunburst down.
No, can't have that. I can't let you get away either. Need to feed.
Sunburst nodded, talking as calmly as possible to the hunger-maddened changeling.
Okay, Starlight, you can feed off me. Just please calm down.
You'll let me?
Starlight asked. Sunburst nodded, smiling warmly.
I trust you, Starlight.
He said. Starlight grimaced, feeling her mind start to reassert itself.
I'm sorry, I'm just so hungry.
Sunburst nodded, sitting down on the floor.
Take whatever you need.
Sunburst said. Starlight hugged Sunburst again and began to feed. A glowing pink light flowed out of Sunburst and into Starlight's mouth. Sunburst staggered, feeling himself being drained by Starlight.
I'm sorry.
Starlight said.
I'm so sorry.
After a few minutes of feeding, she stopped, fully in control of herself again.
I never knew it would be like this.
Sunburst staggered, dizzy.
Ooh, I had a rush.
He said, chuckling.
I'm fine, just a little tired.
Starlight shook her head, ashamed of herself.
I didn't want this. I just wanted to try and understand Chrysalis.
Sunburst shook his head, trying to clear the dizziness.
Oh, hi.
Starlight sighed wearily.
We saved the changelings, but Chrysalis lost everything in the process. She's alone now, and I believe that there's hope for her, that she can be reformed.
Sunburst frowned.
She kept the changelings starving and hostile, hoarding the most of the love for herself. She kept them half-formed from underfeeding.
And I kept an entire town brainwashed and crippled, and I tried to destroy time.
Starlight said.
If someone like me can be reformed.
Sunburst smiled warmly.
The fact that you care so much about what happened shows that you're not evil. You were just misguided back then.
His face fell.
But Chrysalis, she knows nothing but hatred, ambition, and evil for her entire life. Do you really think that she can be reformed?
I truly do.
Starlight said, looking thoughtful.
Even more now than I do before. This hunger, I fed well off of you, but it's still there. I believe if we show Chrysalis that there's a better way, we can save her like we did the rest of her race.
Sunburst sighed.
I hope you're right.
He said.
When she came for the royal family in the Crystal Empire, it was all I could do to keep myself out of danger after Shining Armor, Cadence, and the Flurry Heart were taken. Plus, from what Shining Armor told me, she's sworn vengeance on you. I don't want you to get hurt, Starlight.
Starlight shook her head.
I have to try.
She said. Sunburst chuckled, hugging her again.
You're better than you think you are, Starlight Glimmer.
He said.
Always so stubborn.
And this time for the right reasons.
Starlight said, smiling a little.
You gonna be okay now?
Sunburst asked. Starlight nodded.
If you stay with me,
She said.
I don't think I can go back to the party.
Sunburst nodded.
I have the time.
He said, sitting next to the Changeling Queen and nuzzling her.
I'll stay with you all night.
Thank you.
Starlight said, blushing.
The next day.
So, I think I'm pregnant.
What? Starlight said. What? Twilight shouted, Discord literally falling apart with laughter. Sunburst grinned weakly, looking sheepish.
Yeah, I'm always scared for Starlight, and with all the ambient love energy in the air, push came to shove, came flank bumping. Yeah!
Starlight grimaced.
Sunburst and I think we can change me into a changeling like Thorax. Discord, I'm gonna have to ask you to let me stay Changeling Queen until I give birth.
She said, blushing, not entirely unhappy. Discord nodded, laughing.
Starting this business is the best thing I ever did. To be continued.
So, author's note. Well, that escalated quickly. Anyway, Changeling Royal Chrysalis type won the vote with 29% of 257 votes. Thanks to everyone for participating except for you. It was a close ball call between this and the dragon. Next time we will go with a high fashion transformation. The Rarity is next on the shifting block. This is actually my real voice.
Next time, Rarity transforms.
Thanks for listening, listeners.
I firmly believe that there's hope for Chrysalis, that she can learn to accept friendship and harmony and retake her place as queen.
Friendship sparkles.
I think you're gonna have to redo that because you literally sounded like that with it. It could come back through friendship and harmony.
Okay.
But Chrysalis, she knows nothing but hatred, ambition, and evil for her entire life. Do you really think that she can be reformed?
No.